and she says, "Oh, yes. Have you just flown in from Seattle?
I indeed have.
Right. You have a meeting with Mr. Ostergaard."
Ah, if you could direct me to where this meeting is, that would be wonderful.
She nods and says, "Right. It's just in his office. He's on the third floor, uh, right at the end of the hallway. You can't miss it."
Thank you very much. And she will proceed to presumably the elevator.
Yep. There's an elevator. Uh,
She's not waiting for the rest of the team.
right here. So it's exactly as she said. The third floor. It's quite obvious that this is an important guy's office in the grand scheme of this building because it's at the end of the corridor. It's you can tell it's a big office, and it's got his name in big letters on the door. Johann Ostergaard.
All right, she's gonna enter. I'm assuming you're probably gonna want to wait to set the scene until everyone else gets there, but she's
Sure
gonna
thing.
enter before everyone else.
Does anybody take a different approach to this? To what Fury did?
Nope. The only thing
No, that
Matt's
sounds
going
good.
to do is he's going to call Kyoko and let her know that he's going to be in need of a new sin. So that way he can hopefully get it delivered to Flo while he's doing things in the Arctic so he doesn't have to worry about picking one up on the way home.
I'm actually wanting to do the same thing.
Okay. Do either of you have Steel Waters as a contact?
I do not.
No.
This would mean that none of your contacts are available outside of Seattle.
Hmm?
So she can get it to you upon getting back to Seattle.
Gotcha.
But otherwise, it's going to be tricky.
Okay. We might have to just get Coyote back in, which I think I could facilitate through a fixer.
This is possible. So you can all, assuming you then go through to the receptionist and get directed up to the third floor and make your way to the office. It is kind of a standard. It's kind of a cozy office that you can see because it's just got open windows open glass walls that you can see through. It looks fairly pleasant. There's a little kind of boardroom table, a series of computers, carpet flooring. It looks kind of snug. There's a desk with pictures of a dude's family on it, and a guy sitting at a chair, working away quite diligently, just wearing, slacks, a shirt, tie.
Hello, Mr. Ostegard, I presume?
He spins around in his swivel chair, and he says, "Ah, yes, yes. I hadn't expected you all to be here quite so early, but that's good. Mr. Johnson told me you were coming."
Of course, we are professionals. We handle our business very quickly.
He smiles, and is blissfully unaware of the trouble you had at the airport that might refute this.
Thank God.
And he smiles and says, "Well, take a seat," and he gestures to the boardroom table and moves over, or rather, just pushes his swivel chair over to the head of it. And he says, "Well, thank you so much for coming. I'm told that you have agreed to terms and are willing to do this work for me."
Most
Of
certainly.
course.
He smiles and says, "Can I ask your names? Or I suppose you don't have real names, but..."
We do have real names, lad, but names have power, so we go by other names.
Of course. My name is Cafax Oakhill.
He nods and holds out a hand to shake yours. Says, "Pleased to meet you."
Shake his hand. And I add security consultant to my title.
He chuckles and says, "Yes, yes." and if everyone is just like staring at him like I ain't telling you shit, he will.
I'm just gonna take a seat myself.
Yeah, Mac's gonna take a seat.
Okay. So he'll kind of chuckle a bit nervously, and be like, well, I'm told you've been given most of the information that you'll need. But if there's anything I can do to help things along, please do let me know. Oh,
Yes.
I suppose you'll want to know where the facility is.
That would be a good place to start.
Yeah, and he kind of does the like doy thing, like hits himself on the head. He's like, sorry, a bit scatterbrained at the moment. There's a lot going on around here. So our facility, Cosmos Vale, it's out in the Arctic Circle. We're there doing a number of a large amount of scientific research. We found it a cheap and cost-effective place to put our neutrino telescope, for one thing, Astrid 2. That is our pride and joy. Unfortunately, it would seem that Pisces Mining Corporation, or mining company, I assume you're familiar with them, they seem to think that we are sitting pretty on a potential oil reserve or something along those lines. They've been trying to get a hold of the facility for quite some time. It's changed hands a lot over a number of years, but we've had government backing and scientific funding, and they are not happy with that at all. They've been taking measures to try and oust us from our position, and I fear at this point they've gone too far. We had a distress call from Cosmos Vale several days ago. We've been trying to get in contact with them ever since, and no such luck. The facility has officially gone dark. We believe that Pisces Mining Corporation has sent mercenaries, perhaps of your caliber, to force our hand somewhat to leave the facility.
So
We
first
understand
thing to-
that there has been several instances of troubles at the facility. Could you elaborate on the more recent encounters and what nature?
So he shakes his head and he says, "I think you might have the wrong idea. We've been feeling a lot of pressure from them, mostly sort of political, in nature. We've had representatives citing articles at us, that sort of thing, trying to find a legal way to get us out of the area. They've been resorting to closer to scare tactics more recently, but they've never actually attacked the facility. They're quite a distance from it at the moment, and as you can understand, it's an expensive and difficult route to go. But we believe they've been pushed to the final point."
So your facility, how many of your people are working there, and what is the scope of your own security measures at the facility?
He nods and says, "Well, in an Arctic facility, as the seasons roll around, we swap out different numbers of personnel. So in the summer, we might have 20, upwards of 20, perhaps. It depends on what we need over there. At the moment, as winter is, swiftly has closed in, we will be we're down to about 10 personnel, a skeleton crew on site. But we're scientists. We honestly didn't concern ourselves too much with security. Our people are trained to some extent to ward off animals, but honestly, the chances of encountering anything other than a bird in that area are very slim, and we honestly didn't expect this level of resistance from humans."
Fury is going to look around the room and say, I'm assuming this room has some level of white noise or auditory protection, correct?
Not at all, no.
Oh,
This
so
guy
that
is
is
making
most
no
unfortunate.
efforts to hide this stuff.
And that is most unfortunate. Oh. You are hiring mercenary operatives in order to take care of this venture. However, you are hiring us from a location in which we do not possess the equipment, armor, or gear required to perform this venture. I believe we would like to request access to armor that is both capable of protecting us from potentially hostile meta-human targets and from the definitely hostile weather.
He nods and says, "Oh, of course, of course. I wouldn't dream of sending you out there without being prepared." And I found it out of character. Found it a hard time finding sort of winter protection armor outside of hazard pay.
Run
But
and gun.
Check run and gun.
Run and gun.
Run and gun.
It's all in
Run-
run and gun.
Is it?
That's what I used on my Antarctic run.
Then he will offer you basically your selection of the run and gun stuff.
Oh, really?
More or less. Let me look through. Like you can't have
The
like
Arctic.
the ridiculously military gear stuff. But this is a science facility. They don't have security armor. But let me just take
Okay, so they won't have an Ares Arctic warfare suit then.
probably not.
The
But-
Ares Arctic Forces suit. It's 16R.
So the difference is that these guys do have access to stuff. They have channels, but they also want you to leave as soon as possible.
Yeah, the Arctic Forces suit is basically winter SWAT armor.
Yeah.
How about a set of Globetrotter clothing and jacket?
Globetrotter is not for cold weather.
That's
Well,
not
it
gonna
says
work.
from heat of Sahara to the frigid plains of Antarctica.
You're gonna want like the actual.
You're going to want actual winter armor.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're probably going to be able to provide you quite comfortably with this Ares armored cold suit.
Okay.
And if you wanted to downgrade, the polar survival suit.
Well, the polar survival suit has advantages on different things.
It has.
It's better if we were like,
Yes.
hey, we to go hunting something, but as security, the cold
Yeah.
suit's way better.
And
The
they're
polar-
also going to be able to provide you with the face masks and everything like that.
The polar survival suit is what the team in Antarctica got, because otherwise they'd freeze to death, but hopefully it shouldn't be that cold here.
It will be cold. You are going into the
Yeah.
Arctic Circle.
No, I mean, the polar survival suit is the one for like, the most extreme temperatures, like Antarctica in winter.
But
As
that's, I
installation
think
6.
we also aren't like camping out because we have
Yeah.
a facility to work out of.
So basically, you
the-
have your choice. You can
The armored
have
cold suit
either.
should work.
Yeah, I'll do the cold suit as well.
Okie dokie. Yes, I see. This thing gives you a -2 penalty on fatigue test. I'm not sure how I missed this page. Very odd.
This is the page that inspired my run that I did.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you're more on the ball than I am. So there we go. Just type in the Skype chat which one you're picking. Protection from bullets or protection from environment?
I'm going to make some knowledge checks to see if I know anything else about what's going on here.
Question, I suppose. Would I be able to wear a armored jacket beneath the polar survival suit?
Are you asking me that out of character, or are you asking the
Out of character.
Oscar? Out of character, you're not sure. Unless you have survival you want to roll as an